All right, let's dive into a partnership that's been sweetening our world for, well, millennia. It's this amazing blend of science and art, and it's absolutely vital for our planet. We are, of course, talking about beekeeping. So, to get us started, I've got a little riddle for you. What's something that's 15,000 years old but still tastes just as sweet today? Tuck that away in the back of your mind because the answer, well, it opens up one of the most incredible stories of partnership in the natural world. So what is beekeeping, really? I think for a lot of us, the first thing that pops into our heads is that classic image, right? A beekeeper in a white suit, surrounded by buzzing bees, harvesting liquid gold. And yeah, that's definitely part of it, but the reality is so much bigger. Now, the technical term for it is apiculture, but really, you can just think of it as the craft of raising and caring for honeybee colonies. It's this unique kind of agriculture where the entire goal is to work with the bees to get all the amazing things they produce. And when a hive is healthy, wow, it is a literal treasure chest of natural products. Honey is the star of the show, obviously. But look at all this other stuff. You've got beeswax for things like candles and cosmetics, super nutritious pollen, royal jelly, propolis, which is like a powerful natural antibiotic, and even bee venom, which is used in some medicines. It's like a pharmacy and a pantry all rolled into one. Now, beekeepers generally fall into two camps. You've got your stationary beekeepers, whose hives just chill in one spot all year long, collecting nectar from whatever's blooming locally. And then you have the migratory beekeepers, who are basically tour managers for their bees. They literally pack up the hives and chase the flower blooms all across the country to make sure their bees always have the best of the best. But here's the thing. This isn't some newfangled farming trend. Not at all. Beekeeping is an ancient partnership, one that's been shaping human history for thousands and thousands of years. So remember that riddle? What's 15,000 years old and still tastes sweet? Well, it's the honey that our ancestors were harvesting. That's right, the first evidence we have of humans and bees working together goes back a mind-boggling 15,000 years. This isn't just agriculture, it's one of our oldest, most enduring bonds with another species. This timeline really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? We see it in these prehistoric cave paintings in Spain, showing people climbing ladders to get to wild hives. Fast forward to ancient Egypt, where honey was revered. It was food, medicine, a sacred offering. And get this, they actually found a 3,200-year-old jar of honey in a pharaoh's tomb that was still perfectly edible. Can you even imagine? And even before that, 5,000 years ago, the Sumerians were already writing down how to use it as medicine. Incredible. So how did we get from, bravely scaling cliffs for wild honey to the structured, almost scientific practice that we have today? Well, it's been a long journey, all about making things better for the bees, which, in turn, makes things better for us. And really, everything about modern beekeeping comes down to this one core principle. Every single decision, from the hive design to the medicine used, is guided by this golden rule. Don't do anything that harms the bees, the people, or the honey. It's like an ethical promise you make to the colony. A modern beekeeper has to wear a ton of different hats. They're basically a landlord, making sure the bees have a safe place to live. They're a nutritionist, ensuring the colony has enough food to get through a tough winter. And they're even a city planner, managing the hive's population to keep it healthy and growing. So, let's start with being a landlord. A healthy colony absolutely needs a good home. And the design of that home is, well, everything. And boy, have beehives evolved over the centuries. On one side, you've got traditional hives, like these Turkish Karakovan, which are often just hollowed out logs. They feel really natural for the bees, but for the beekeeper, they're kind of a black box. It's tough to see what's going on inside or harvest honey without causing a huge mess. Then you have the modern hives, with these brilliant removable frames. They're just marvels of efficiency. A beekeeper can gently peek inside, check on the queen, spot any diseases, and take out honey with hardly any disruption at all. And where you put that hive is just as important as how it's built. It's like real estate for bees. Location, location, location. The perfect spot is way far away from pollution and pesticides. It needs some shelter from the elements. You don't want it getting blasted by wind or cooked in the summer sun. And this is a big one. Bees need a clean source of water nearby, not just to drink, but to help cool down the hive when it gets hot. Okay, let's talk about the nutritionist hat. This is a surprisingly big deal in the beekeeping world. What's on the menu? See, a good beekeeper sometimes has to step in and provide food. especially if there's a drought or during a long winter. But what they serve up makes all the difference. But, and this is a huge but, there's a serious warning that comes with this. Feeding bees should only ever be a safety net, never a replacement for their natural diet. When beekeepers just strip all the honey out and replace it with cheap sugar water, they're hurting the bees' health and creating a product that isn't really high-quality honey anymore. It's a shortcut that, in the long run, just doesn't work. So what do you feed them if you have to? Well, simple sugar syrup is okay, along with protein boosters, like soy flour. But this do not feed list is the really critical part. Cheaper sugars, like corn syrup, can actually be harmful. Same goes for stuff like molasses or caramel. And you should never, ever feed them soured honey. It can be full of nasty stuff that'll make the whole colony sick. All right, finally, let's get to the most scientific part of the whole operation, breeding better bees. This is where that ancient art of animal husbandry smashes right into modern genetics. It's pretty cool. Beekeepers are basically playing matchmaker, trying to select for some very specific traits. Productivity is a big one, of course. More honey is always good, but they also breed for gentler bees, which makes everyone's life a lot easier and less painful. And one of the most important traits is what's called hygienic behavior. This is where the bees are just naturally good at keeping the hive clean and fighting off nasty pests like the infamous varroa mite. And finally, you want bees that are perfectly suited to their local environment. So when you put it all together, breeding better bees isn't just about cranking out more honey. It's about building a more sustainable future for these incredible insects. By focusing on these traits, beekeepers can create healthier colonies that don't need as much medicine. And that, in turn, means higher quality, pure honey for all of us. So, we've seen how beekeeping has gone from this daring hunt for wild honey to a deeply sophisticated science. It's this delicate dance between ancient wisdom and modern genetics, a partnership that's lasted 15,000 years. But as we face new challenges, from climate change to pesticides, this question becomes more urgent than ever. How do we make sure this incredible ancient partnership can keep going and thrive for another 15,000 years?